Hello and welcome to my sewing room. My current doll is Georgette, the Suffragette. Here she is from toe to head. She's a very pretty girl, an R&B nanette. Her hair's a little messy. I embroidered this. It says Votes for Women. And before I get started on the hat, which is this thing right here, I wanted to show you her corset, which I made as I made everything on this outfit. This outfit is white linen. The skirt and coat are fully lined. And this will just take a second. Her outfit is rather elaborate. Here's her petticoat. Here are her fancy shoes. They're made of linen and leather. And I made everything super fitted. Notice she has little garters. I don't know if you could see them, but there they are. And this tie snaps in back. Take this hat off. This blouse. Now, I'm not going to get her undressed any further because it's a real hassle. But look at this corset. Isn't that pretty? And to make it, this is silk. It's an upholstery fabric sample. And the boning is zip ties. I just cut them off. It's double layered. This is lined in cotton fabric in gold. You won't see it. And then there's vintage seam binding up and down. So that turned out really well, and I just wanted to show you. And then the garter is elastic, and it snaps onto these socks, these long socks. Now the shoes, they snap in the back, so you don't have to lace them up each time. But they turned out really well. She turned out really well, and we love her, and she comes with an American flag. I am going to set Georgette aside. This hat is very easy to make. If you don't want to use a compass, you can make your own circles. I found this in a vintage book from someone making hats. And what you do is you fold the paper to make a square. You know, I used to do this as a little girl. I don't know if kids do it now. But if you want a perfect square, you just fold that corner down. And then you go like that. And then, actually, I will need her again. Don't look at my neck fat. Okay, so here she is. If you need, you make a little donut shape to fit her head. And to avoid having to try and make a perfect circle, etc., here's how they did it in the olden days. You fold, 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 and then you just guesstimate. You can always cut more. You can't cut less. So you just cut it like that. This is going to be too small. Nope, not quite right. And plus I want more of a circle. So I'm going to fold it one more time. So now we'll cut some more. That's almost there. Now I don't need to do as much. I want that part to be as big as possible. Okay, so you have a size that will fit. For this hat, I got 3 layers of fabric. The top layer, the bottom layer. I'm sorry, this hat is black and I'm wearing black. And then I put a piece of fabric in between. You put this on your fabric, cut out all 3 layers. Don't forget that everything is an island. So you cut about a 1/4 inch in, a 1/4 inch around. You don't need to worry about finishing this edge. So all you do is you sandwich all 3 together. I sewed in concentric circles going all the way around, smaller and smaller until I got to the center. You can't see that, I'm sorry. And then I buy all the vintage trim I can find. I have this in blue. I, of course, used black so that I could show you. But you take this vintage seam binding or selvage tape, whatever it's called. I iron one side open. I then take it and sew all my 3 layers all the way around. And I can use that faint line that I've ironed for guidance for my foot. And then when you do that, so say this is attached, I'll get a pin from my trusty chair arm. Say this is attached, you sew it, and once it's all sewn around, then you attach it, and then you have a finished edge. Okay? Do that all the way around. So then, for the crown, I use this piece of paper. Hats back then, of the style that I wanted, have big crowns that are as big as the ladies' heads themselves. And so I used, here, let me put her a little lower so you could see. I used this as my guide. I have the blue thing attached. I used this as my guide. Hello. And made it, cut a circle of fabric bigger than this circle, like by a 1/2 inch or so. I measured, it could have been 1 inch. Do a gathering stitch around that, sew it to the inside brim, and then to line. The simplest way to line a hat is to get a strip of satin, iron it up on one side. I hand stitched it around. Then I whip stitch the 2 ends together. And then I do a gathering stitch, like in and out. That's all hand sewn. And then gather it and then sew it together. This one, I wasn't happy with how I gathered it, so I took it apart. But you can kind of get the idea. This is it. When you sew the square thing in, then you do a gathering stitch that gathers it, and then your hat is lined. Then you could decorate it any way you want. And there you have it. It's really not hard. I know I went fast, but I don't like long videos. And you could call, no, not call. You can ask me anything. I'm an open book. I will tell you. One thing I forgot to say. When you're sewing that brim on, this is wire. This is from a hardware store. I got a piece that was long enough to go around the brim. And as I was sewing on this stuff, I cut a piece that was a little bit bigger than what I needed because I hate to be short. And I stitched it in. And that way, the brim is adjustable. She can be saucy if she wants to be, you know, and have it tilted down like that or whatever. It's great wire. And it comes in handy a lot. So anytime I see wire that I don't have that I could use, I get it. So there we have it. Georgette the Suffragette. And if you'd like, you can subscribe to my blog at hazeltwigg.com/blog.